Welcome to Your Next Level Now with your host, Bob Donnell. As a human behaviorist, Bob has helped people from every walk of life reach their next level, both personally and professionally. Whether a celebrity, professional athlete, or entrepreneur, Bob has helped them align their behavior with their desired result in their life and career. This is Your Next Level Now with
All right.
Bob.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Your Next Level Now. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Real or replacement. I have had several replacements in my life and have been very grateful for each one of them. So thank you for all of you who have stepped in for the fathers that were absent. You guys, Monday mornings are one of my favorite mornings because I get to either teach something that I believe is valuable, like a next level pillar, or I get to bring somebody on that I've met through different channels and had the opportunity to connect with and learn from and help them get their story out. So today we have the opportunity to for you guys to sit in on a conversation I'm going to have with Cynthia Mannion, who Cynthia, we'll dive into her story. I don't need to tell you the story, but we'll dive into her story. But you're going to be fascinated by the different channels that she's taken in her life that have led her to be the person that she is today. And she's got a new book out called The Black Pearl. And you guys want to check out the YouTube where she's been interviewed. There it is. Beautiful cover. Great title. So we're going to talk about that. But we're going to talk about all things Cynthia Mannion today. And guys, tune in, invite your friends, get them involved. They will be very happy that they did. So that being said, Cynthia, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you.
Yeah. How are you today?
I'm fabulous.
So tell us one thing that makes you that is absolutely fascinating about you.
Well, right now, it was Father's Day. I lost my father in February 2020, and he is at Arlington National Cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really fascinating about is my mother died first in 1979, and she's at Arlington National Cemetery.
Wow.
So for the longest time, it had, just Frances Loretta Mannion, and the date, June 7th, 1979. That was the most devastating thing that ever happened to me. It still is. Yeah. And then I took care of her. She died of leukemia. The next in Arlington National Cemetery in this plot, I took care of my stepmother for 16 years with breast cancer. So then she died, and then what they do is they actually stack them. So then I wasn't sure how my mom would feel about that. It's a little, but I thought, okay, it's great. One place to go visit both of them. So then they put her name on the back. So Carol D. Mannion, and she died in April 2013. And then Dad died. And so what they do now is they put the person who served on the front. So it has Lieutenant Colonel Martin F. Mann, United States Air Force, on the front, and then on the back, wives of Frances and then Carol. Isn't that interesting?
That is really interesting.
And then for me, it's one-stop shopping. Get one big, beautiful thing of flowers, and I usually divide it and put half in front and half in back.
Yeah, I hear you.
So
That's
yes,
funny.
I always visit for Mother's Day, Father's Day, and their birthdays, and if I'm just driving by. But yesterday I did a favor for someone else's father, and I justified it to my dad and said, I'm doing one for a living father, but I'll get to you on Wednesday.
Good for you. It's good to have those boundaries and have a structure of what you need to do to get everything done the way you want it to get it done.
It's true. And you're an expert at this.
Thank you. You are, you're kind of an anomaly. The more I've learned about you, the more I've realized that you're not the woman that you just look at and go, oh, that's Cynthia Mannion. There's so many layers to you. And I see some people online. Debbie Bettendorf says, hi, Bob and Cynthia. Hey, Debbie, I know you were on her show recently.
Morning,
Um,
Debbie. It was so fun.
she's
Yes.
a sweetheart. She's just an amazing woman. And Beirut, nice to see you there. And Flo and Jim obviously are online with us. But guys, or Cynthia, let me just kind of address the elephant in the room, and that is, here's this beautiful woman who has accomplished a lot in modeling, has modeled for some of the biggest agencies in the world, have worked directly with some of the biggest names in the industry, not just worked but actually worked directly with the biggest names, and then has also traveled the world, some by her choice and some not so much. We have something in common, except mine was without excuse. You had, every time I moved to 20 different elementary schools and 6 different high schools. And every time I would get there, they'd be, "What, your dad in the military?" And I'm going, "What? I don't have a dad. Never met my dad, don't know anything about him. And no, my mom was not in the military, so no." But you, when they would say, "What, is your dad in the military?" you would have to say yes. And because the way you were raised, learning a little bit about you, it was an emphatic yes, and it was without apology. Yeah, yes, sir. Without apology. How do you think that shaped your ability to connect with people over the years?
It was amazing because you just get dropped in and you have to figure it out. There's no rule book. Nobody cares. You're either lucky or you're not lucky. It was amazing. I'm exactly the same, I think. Well, you're different every day, but basically.
Yeah.
And in some schools, I was like the most popular cool kid. In others, I was like the least popular, most geeky, uncool kid. But I had the same values and the same thoughts, and mostly took the same courses, mostly had the same interests, give or take. And it was really good because you learn how to make friends anywhere.
Yeah.
You can talk to anybody, anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
And actually any language, even if you don't speak the language, if you hang out a couple of years, you pick up a few words, and when you're around it, you just kind of gravitate. And of course, as a kid, it was really easy.
Right.
Unfortunately, I didn't retain any of them, but I can still find a bathroom in any country.
It is interesting though. People always, they would always say to me, "Bob, that must have been so hard." And I'd be like, "Compared to what?"
Yeah, actually, it's much better because kind of like not having Facebook when we were kids. There's no evidence.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was to my betterment, not to my detriment at all. I think that I can walk into any situation, any environment, any place, and I can adapt to the room and in such a way that the room will adapt to me.
Yes.
I don't have to become different. I can read the room better than most. And even on a one-on-one conversation, I think that was one of the gifts that my mom gave me, not the curses that she gave me in moving me so much. So I love the fact that you've used it in a lot of different capacities. I love the fact moving to New York and just kind of being plopped down there. Can you tell that story? Because it's such a powerful story.
Well, my dad had moved home, and I had been taking care of my brothers and sisters for a few years and felt that I was the queen of the family. So we were actually drinking and sitting at the kitchen table discussing our parenting skills. And the kids are smart, right? So if they didn't get the answer they wanted from me, they went to dad, and vice versa. So the whole place was a mess. So he said, "So Cynthia, I think you should move." I said, "Fine." He goes, "When are you moving?" I said, "Saturday." He said, "What do you need?" I said, "The mattress off my bed." I have to tell you, I was a little shocked when he came to my door on Saturday morning and knocked on the door to get my mattress. I was like, oh, and I never said bad words, but I was thinking, But, I was like, okay. So I got that blue Samsonite piece of luggage that I had gotten for graduating from high school and stuffed it in there. And I had $400 to my name, took all of that. He always had a pantry full of supplies, like a room in case, the world ended. So I grabbed tuna fish and Roman noodles and cans of, I didn't like grapefruit juice. We always had these big clear tin, from the commissary. So I got peach juice and, as much stuff as I could put quickly. Threw it in the car, took my pillow and my bedspread and a few books and just kind of, and then I drove to Baltimore. And I was like, oh my gosh, I went to see the eagle arches. I said, oh.
Now, wait, where is this mattress at the time?
Oh, it's tied onto the roof of my car.
Dad took you at your word.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, I drove to Baltimore and I'm like, no, they won't be able to survive without me. They can't do it. They need me. How can I leave my brothers and sisters? And Gary Iglarsh said, go. You have to go. This is your big chance. You have to go. And I'm like, can I stay here? And Matt, can I stay with you? You and Matt are like, nope, you got to go. So
now let's explain who they are. They were your siblings, right?
Oh no, my siblings are home. They're in Alexandria, Virginia.
Right.
I drove to Baltimore to a photographer friend of mine, Gary Iglarsh, Annette Iglarsh, and their daughter Abigail.
But what you were saying was, I can't just leave my siblings. I mean, how are they going to deal with everything? Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And you felt a sense of responsibility. Let's talk about why you felt such a sense of responsibility for your younger siblings.
They're my kids. I mean, I promised Mom I'd take care of them. My little sister was 2. She turned 3 in 1979. Yes, she was 3. And my sister was 11 and my brother was 16. And I mean, no one was home. It was just me. And I figured it out, I made dinners. I tortured them, actually. I thought they needed to know about every country in the world. So I had theme weeks. And I know everyone was, Dad happened to visit on Chinese or Japanese week. And I was making everyone use chopsticks. And I had hidden all the knives and forks and utensils so that everyone would learn how to use chopsticks. He was not happy.
I still don't know how to use chopsticks. So.
Oh, well, so I did Mexican, and try to teach them how to do Mexican dances, whatever, just for fun. I got up in the morning, made lunches. I drove my sister to Brownie Academy.
Now I want to stop for a second, because the way I understand the story is that this wasn't imposed upon you. This was something you took upon yourself.
It's true. Yes.
What made you at such a young age decide to take upon yourself the raising of these young lives? Was it desire or out of obligation?
It was the right thing to do. Plus, I didn't know how they would exist. I went back. I was at Georgetown at the time. I went back. I remember I was sitting in Father Zarini's macroeconomic class or microeconomic class. And I was just worried about them. And he went, Mannion, are you with us? And I said, no, Father, I'm not. And I picked up my books and left and just went home and became a full-time mom. And also had to make some money. So I did some modeling convention work and, those little annoying people that spray the perfume in Bloomingdale's. I was one of those. I taught modeling at Barbizon, as a matter of fact. Just whatever I could do. I modeled for the Smithsonian. Edith Head gave me Mae West's dress and taught me how to walk. And I did amazing things.
Wow.
I did every convention that came to town. It was one fun time. They paid me in chocolate. I got my weight in chocolate. I mean, they paid me, but I also got my weight in chocolate. Boy, the kids have fun with that.
Oh, man.
And I took them to church every Sunday and helped with homework. And, I had my sister in long hair. I used to braid it every morning. And we had a dog and a cat. And I pretended like I was Mom and did everything like she would. And on Sundays, we'd go on a venture. We went sightseeing someplace. We'd go someplace, mostly the free places. But there's a lot to do in Washington, D.C. And I would take them and make sure that they learned something, even if they complained. If they were good, we got McDonald's on the way home. And everyone knew if we were going on a venture, what that really translated to is sit back, relax, because Cynthia is totally lost. And it's going to take us a while to figure out how to get home. This was before GPS.
Right, right. Do you think your dad was cognizant of everything you were going through at that time?
Nope, I think he had no idea whatsoever. Dad was about dad. And I think also he had his own grief, and he also had his own girlfriends. He was a busy man. Plus, he worked at the Pentagon at that time. So he was very, very busy. And
let's talk for a second about the grief. What was the major cause, do you think, of his grief?
He lost his dad on Sunday and his wife on Wednesday, same week, same month, same year. And in fact, when Mom got sick, we were in Pennsylvania for the funeral. In fact, I left my brother and sister there and only took my little sister Carolyn with me when I drove home. And one of my biggest regrets was I didn't let her die at home because I was afraid my dad would kill me. I didn't know she was going to die. I thought maybe. So I loaded her and Carolyn back in the car and I drove to Walter Reed. She died at Walter Reed that day. It was, yeah.
You know, I want to draw out a point because I think a lot of times when we think, well, I'll deal with my grief on my own, we don't realize that the way we deal with our grief may be different than the way those that we love around us are dealing with grief. One, and two, that just because we're dealing with our grief, it doesn't mean we're helping others deal with theirs. So with your dad being maybe not cognizant of what you were going through, do you think what would be one thing if you could recommend to your dad, if you could have a conversation with him, say, Dad, here's what I really needed from you at that time, what would that be?
Actually, at that time, I thought we needed family counseling. I thought everyone needed some help, professional help. And I did approach him on that, and he thought that was not necessary. He had an idea that, weak people do it, and it wasn't good for an officer in the Air Force to engage in getting counseling. So I think I did pretty good with my sisters. I did excellent with my youngest sister, and my brother was already on the wrong path. All I could do was be there to support him. He died in 2021. That was he was younger than me too. Heartbreaking.
Sorry for your loss. Yeah.
So,
I think the reason I wanted to kind of address it in reverse order, if you've noticed the way I've gone, is because I think that there's a lot that we learn later on in life that we go, I could have taught that then, but I just didn't know it. Or I could have lived it that way, but I just didn't know how to at that point. The question you might have asked your dad, or the advice you might have given your dad today in that situation may have been different than what you were asking for at the time. Do you see any difference, or was it pretty much the same?
I think he became the father that we needed in his last year of life. And I wanted all my brothers and sisters to come and spend time with him and see that there was a whole different person down in there. And two did, two didn't. And I really said to one, I said, you really need to come because you need to see him and forgive him and get it out of your DNA, because it's not healthy to harbor all those feelings. And that person did not come. And she was, I called her. I'm like, he's dying. I said he was going to die. You got to get here. And she left one day later, and she got here, and I said, Dad, can't die yet. She's coming. And he did. And I almost said, you did that on purpose. That was not very nice of you. Oh, yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. I do believe he had extraordinary powers. He could do anything. Talking about fathers, he was an Iron Man. He could sail anything. He could fly anything. He scuba dived. He hunted. He did safari. We used to count his laps when he did the Ironman training. He could fix anything. He knew Morse code. He was amazing. Just
Incredible.
amazing. A man's man.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's incredible. You know,
Really
let's talk about this book, because this book, I know, I've heard some of your interviews. I've heard, we share Grow Life Academy together. So I hear, some of the stuff there. And then you and I have had some conversations. And this book, what was the precipice for this book taking shape in such a way to become a fictional, but yet with some real life experience in there? And I love your positioning of it. It's really for everyone, but your heart is for women that have just really, that really need your voice to gain their own. And I say that in that specific order. They need your voice because they're going to have to borrow your voice, maybe in the lack of their courage that they have for themselves right now. Can you talk about what was the precipice of that book?
I always wanted to write a book. I looked around. We kind of have three stories going, so I'm going to start with answering your question. During the pandemic, so many my friends looked terrible, weren't taking care of themselves, really went into bad places. Now there's great sparks, but in general, there was a and I was taking it as a great vacation, not vacation because I actually worked harder, but it was wonderful to be at home. And I started off with water bottles with this online Zoom that I got. My girlfriend kind of inspired her to get it going. And just hearing people's stories, and they were so depressed and so, ugh. And I was like, oh, I just want to pull back your heart and go back to that little seed and remember who you were. And this is your opportunity to like do something with that. Whatever you did, whatever you want to do. One girl started painting. She's doing unbelievable paintings, actually two right here in my neighborhood. And just coming up with other things that make you happy, that little soul, that little piece of you that you forgot. And the strength to do it. You just have to, make a time commitment, be consistent, start doing it and go for it. And not listen to the negative stuff. You have to have your positive affirmations, inside of your bathroom cabinet, so that when you open it in the morning, you remind yourself every day. And that, like, I just try to focus on three things I'm going to get done every morning when I wake up. And right now I'm working on another book, so I'm trying to get that done. So it's like, okay, you gotta walk the dog, feed the dog.
right, the tasks.
Work on the book, and even if you don't think of anything that day, write about the weather. It's another beautiful day. Every day is a beautiful day. We're here. We're alive. We beat all those other sperms to be born. There's a reason that we are here. There's a reason that God, or your divine, your presence, your soul person put you on this planet. And you have a deep purpose, an amazing mission. And you can't squander this time. You have to do what your mission is. And it's not sitting on the couch and overeating and, that stuff.
Yeah.
So I in my route up to New York, when we were talking, I spent a lot of time in green rooms and in dressing rooms. And Robin Tchaikovsky's couldn't believe my life then. And she was like, you should write a book. So it only took me a few more decades to get the first one out. But she was very inspiring. Just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. I can't believe you've done all that stuff. Wow. I can't believe you've lived all those places. Like, yeah, it's just, and everyone has a cheerleader someplace. And if you don't, you can use me or Bob.
There you go. Amen. Wow. So you get to New York and you're in this big city, and it's like, make it or don't. What was your
Yes.
first thing you did when you got to New York City that set you on the right trajectory?
They used to have the newspaper stands and stuff,
Hmm?
right? So I bought the newspaper. I bought Backstage.
Okay.
Backstage was there, and someone told me the Ross reports were very helpful. So I got the Ross reports, and first of all, I found a place to live. I called a girl who I did not know, Georgia Harrell. We're still friends. She is in California now,
Wow.
and um, sight unseen, girl unseen, walked up these four flights of stairs. What was it? 47 West 73rd Street. Gave this girl I didn't know my $400. I really only had the change that was in the car from tolls left.
Whoa.
And she left. And it wasn't a big shake. It was like barely even a 1-bedroom apartment. So you walked in the front door, and that became my room, and it had one little closet and one window. It was long and narrow. And then over here, there was a hallway, and the little kitchenette part was here. The back half would have been the living room, dining room, but that was her space, and the bathroom was over there. And she entertained a lot. So I was always like, oh, when I had to go there. And so I had this cute little outfit that I thought I looked wonderful in that I wore every day. It was a white leather mini skirt with a white leather woven top and white heels, patent leather. And it was good because it didn't need to be dry cleaned or washed. You just kind of wiped it down. And I started at the A's. I wasn't, this is the blonde coming out. I started at the A's and walked. And I didn't get a job to the I's.
To the eyes.
And I was really panicking. And I remember when I was moving in there, I had now eaten all the provisions that I'd taken out of the emergency pantry.
From Dad's pantry.
Yep. I remember I opened the can of peach juice with the can opener, like, one of the pointed ones. And I got the worst stomach cramps. And of course, then I had the mattress on like the second floor. And I was trying to decide if I should just bag the whole thing and go home or continue up. And I figured, well, I'm halfway there. There's nowhere else to go.
Was that the first time that you thought about going home, or had you thought about it before that?
I was kind of just moving on adrenaline, I think, before that. That was the time when I believe I cried and said a prayer to Mom, and, what am I doing? And how will they live without me?
I better go home and take care of them.
It was there. And we didn't have cell phones then either, remember?
Yeah.
And it was, and
you didn't have much change left in your car to go use a payphone.
I didn't. That's why I didn't call those agencies. That's why I walked to them.
Man.
Yeah.
Love
and
that.
Yes. It was amazing. When I got to the W's, come to think of it, William Morris took me.
Really?
Yeah. I just went to every one of them all the time. It was amazing.
Name some of the names you worked with.
Well, my favorite was Oscar de la Renta. He's my absolute favorite. He was so nice to me. I would sit outside his office. I think he was paying me $250 an hour, and I needlepointed. Robin Dukowski taught me how to needlepoint in the dressing rooms. And
Did he know he was paying you $250 an hour to needlepoint?
Absolutely, I think he does, or maybe he didn't even. I don't know. I think he just liked me sitting there because his first wife used to needlepoint, and I think it must have brought back pleasant memories to him or something. And so I would just sit there. He would keep me waiting for a couple hours. I'd be like, "Oh, this is wonderful." Oh, also, they would feed me.
And it has perks.
Yeah.
And how old were you at that time?
I was 23-ish, 24, 23, 24.
Unreal.
Yeah, he taught me how to eat gefilte fish. It was a Jewish holiday, and all the seamstresses and, because I did the fittings. And so everyone was there to, tuck and do whatever for the swimsuit. I was doing the swimsuit fittings for them. And in between, I take bites of stuff.
Now, at this point in your life, I mean, here you are working with some of the biggest names. How was your ability to view yourself realistically?
I was just trying to pay the rent and survive in New York City. And so, like, I just kind of became friends with them. It was their
Mm.
people. I worked for Donna Karen. In fact, when I had a really bad leg injury, she made me a skirt that was black velvet. I still have it. It was short on my good leg and went down on my recovering leg to cover the big thing. I wasn't working during that time. I worked for Gloria Vanderbilt Suits, Giorgio St. Angela, Halston, Jeffrey Bean.
Now, did you arrive in New York going, I am hot, I am sexy, I am beautiful, I am wonderful, I am strong, I am courageous? Did you get there with that embedded in you already?
Nope.
Where did it come from?
Where did it come from? I think it came from all the masterminds I have been taking. I think I just developed it. I don't think I always had it. I think whenever I got myself in a jam, like when I had this skiing injury and I didn't walk for 3 years and I weighed like 300 pounds, actually 299. I did not hit that 300 mark. I refused. When I was laying in bed in Vail Valley Medical Center and I was looking out the window and on the TV, something came up and I went, ah. So I entered the Mrs. New York pageant. I was married then. Just like having a goal and deciding to do it and just getting up and doing it.
Yeah.
And if you just decide you're going to do it, you just do it. And I had no idea that I was anything. I actually figured I was untalented and not smart enough and have to really watch all that negative self-talk and put it back there. Now I have this little chant that I made up with Pearl in Santa Barbara at Eileen's Avocado Ranch last year. And it goes, you are amazing. I am amazing. We are amazing. Sounds great on the top of a mountain or in a bathroom or in a tunnel or in the mirror when you're looking at yourself. And it works for everyone that you see and everyone smiles. I did in the grocery store 2 days ago and I had everyone smiling and they were like, I said, see, it just takes a moment to be kind and have a little fun and look at the whole aisle in the blind was smiling. And I said, and now you're wondering why this lady hasn't left so you could get your stuff right. But just deciding to do it, just like you decide to be happy every day. Like you just decide to be healthy. You just decide and you do it and you make a mark, you make it so that it's attainable or you work towards it, but you have an end date, a goal date, what you want. Some people say not to call them goals anymore, opportunities, but a direction.
Yeah.
An idea. Like once you get the idea, I think your subconscious and all those cool things start working on it for you, even while you sleep. So you have to make sure that you always have the good thoughts because I think it all goes together. Like when I decided, I think it's 3 years ago now to be in a bodybuilding contest, I did it. And now I have 2 or 3. Let's see, can I show you? It goes this way. Can you see the trophies up there?
Yes. Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I got some hardware and all I did was decide to do it. And now it keeps me in shape. And so I'm only entering 1 a year now because that's all I need. 1 a year to keep me honest and going to the gym and on point.
You know, I love that. I was looking back at some of your pictures and some of the things, and I'm like, man, not only did she decide to do it, but she kept doing it. And I really like that. I know I have some friends that are fitness models and I know the work that it takes to stay in that, not just to do it for a competition once and then go, okay, I'm done. But to stay in that. So what it took for you is amazing to me. I don't, I've never done something with that much commitment in that kind of realm. Sports, I wrestled, I played basketball, I played football, but never to the degree that you have to do what you did. What do you think was it that allowed you to do that, even in the midst of all the chaos? I mean, you mentioned you were married before. You mentioned that you had, you know, your siblings. You mentioned you had your career. What do you think it is that drove you to the ability to be able to do what you do on a daily basis?
survival.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Plus, I like to have fun, so I try to find ways to do things that are fun and meet new people and help people. And I can't help them if I don't know anything about it. So I like to try everything.
Love that. So, your book, if you
Yeah.
told, if somebody said, what's the one chapter I should read if I don't ever read any other chapter in that book, what would it be?
Page 66 is my favorite. Is this page 66 in the hardback too? Yes, I like both water and sand are part of the ocean, Boris said. Therefore, I want you to lie back and just be one with everything around you. Do not try to distance yourself or think. Just be aware of this great ocean and let go of everything else.
Guys, right there, read by the author. What about that makes that your favorite?
Just try it. Do it. And you can do it anywhere. You can just do it right here. You just close your eyes, lay back, clear your head, and just let it be and see what comes up. Maybe something I said or something Bob said inspired you to think of something that you want to do. So just take a moment and think of what it is and just let it percolate. You don't have to make a big list or anything. Just see where it brings you. On some of my books that people have been winning in the talks and stuff, Galen made these bookmarkers for me. I was just going to put a ribbon in my books.
Oh, cool.
But he made these, now they're 13-step processes, but has a real black pearl on the front of it.
Love that.
And at the end, it has a mermaid. They're all different. There were 200 of them, but I've done a pretty good job giving them out. So I always put it on page 66. So if you've gotten one of the books, there's a reason that it's there. So I put it in page 66 when I send it out. And then some of my winners, I have to order more of these. Have gotten this beautiful little gift.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. My podcast, the Cynthia Mannion Show, now I'm following in Bob's footsteps.
Nice.
Right now it's the last Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. But
awesome.
I usually give a couple of these away, and it's Love Pearl, a wish waiting to come true. And what it is, it's a real oyster in there.
Wow. Beautiful.
And you get to open it and you get a pearl in it. And then this is a mermaid, and you put the pearl in there, and there's 4 or 5 different colors: white for wisdom, cream for success, peach for health, purple for wealth, black for love. A shimmering love pearl waits to brighten your every mood. And anyway.
Wow. Now, where do people get those? Is that something you sell online or what?
I haven't been, but I might actually put it on my website. That's a very good idea, because I'm getting so many requests for them. And I've given away
beautiful pieces.
Yeah, I've given away 25 of them. And I have 2 left, and they're already taken. I just haven't packaged them up yet. Wow. In fact, one goes to Barb, Blessings from Barb.
Yeah.
I think she's in our group.
Yeah.
And the other one is Kellen Ann's. Just came back from London today from promoting her book that she did, I think, with Michael Heplin on the 17. So I just have to package those for those 2 lovely ladies. And then I realized I wouldn't have one for the demo to show you. So I better just wait one more day.
Good for you. Good for you.
But that's a very good suggestion, Bob. I think maybe I should, because now everyone wants them.
Well, yeah, especially since you've been talking about them, people are going to, even the demand's only going to grow more. So yeah,
yes.
awesome.
Yeah, Debbie got one.
Debbie Bendorf.
Yeah. Find it.
Find it. Good old find it.
Yep. And
love
she found
Debbie.
her pearl. She got a white one for wisdom.
Oh, she did? Oh,
and she's a very wise young lady. Actually.
She is a wise young lady and an amazing young lady. Yeah, I agree. As are you. Let me, as we round this out, we're going to open it up for Q&A for those that are in Zoom. But let me just ask you this. If if your life is going to mean something at the end of it, what have you found that's necessary in order for you to do that or be that?
That is a very good question that I have been pondering. I am
Mm,
at the crossroads once again of my life. And I've been thinking about this. I do so many things and I need to pull it in. My current things are literacy and the ocean. Always want to make sure everyone knows how to swim. I don't think there should be any drownings ever.
mm,
Um,
mm.
I
Oh,
think
that's good.
everyone needs to know how to read. Everyone in the world. I think there's still like 70 million or something people that don't know how to read. Can't possibly exist and do better.
Mm,
Um, and and every single day, every single moment, leaving a little earlier, so that you can be nicer on the roads, taking a moment, smiling at people, being kind, just simple things, holding the door open for someone.
mm.
I
Yeah.
mean, I just want to leave a smile and a little piece of joy. I just want everyone to slow down and be so grateful. We live in the greatest country in the world, in
Mm,
the universe, and appreciate it
mm,
and pick up after yourself. I try to leave
mm.
every place I go or do a little better, a little cleaner, a little nicer.
Nice. Love that. Mm.
And what about you,
Thank
Bob? How would you answer that question?
this interview is about you. This is all you.
Yes. Okay. Well, you'll tell me later then. Give me a
Oh,
little
sure,
clue then.
absolutely, absolutely. But I really want the people to get the gist of who you are, not just what you've done. And so I really thank you for sharing what you've shared so far. We're gonna open this up for Q&A for Flo and for Jim. And I see some other people, Debbie and Flo, and another Debbie, and Eric Flornay is there. Ruby Ann Rhodes McCoy is a very dear friend of mine. So we've got some people on. So Jim, do you have a comment or a question?
I am just in love with Cynthia.
Yeah.
Just hearing your story, so beautiful. Thank you for when you were younger, for your service. I think you enabled your dad to be all he could be
Mm,
at what he's doing and served us in
so
doing
true.
that. So,
So true.
and just being a ray of sunshine. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh,
Well,
that's
thank
awesome.
you. Thank you.
And
That's cool. I
Cynthia,
actually never thought of that.
Jim is a leadership expert. So that's
Oh,
where his background is. And he's got a great illustrious career that he's been very successful over the years. And now he's kind of doing a lot of give back stuff. So it's kind of cool. But hopefully you guys can connect. And he's got a great podcast. So I know he's had a couple of people on that you know. So you guys can touch base about that for sure.
awesome. I would love to. Thank you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
fantastic. Yeah, thank you, Bob.
Absolutely. Flo, what about you?
Hi, Cynthia. Thank you for sharing this morning. I was taking notes and I love how you decide to be happy and it's a decision. It's not a choice, it's a decision that you've done. And all the decisions that you've made and you shared, I love how it created you. But one thing that stuck out with me, and I'm sorry for your loss with your dad.
Thanks.
It's still fresh for you. Why is it still fresh for you? Even your mom, when you were mentioning your mom.
Yeah. Well, I took care of my dad in my house for 7 years
Mm.
because I didn't want him. I put him in one of those places for about 5 minutes and I saw that was horrible and
Yeah.
took care of him myself. And I guess Father's Day always brings it up too, right?
Yeah.
And when you drive down different roads or, little things, you just get hit with, oh, we did that, or we did that, or, that thing on your phone where the pictures come up, 1 year, 2 year, so I
Memory.
happened to get, I got hit with that today too. So I was like, oh,
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for answering. I know it's vulnerable for you. So thank you.
No, I appreciate it because it's good to share and it's good to talk about it. And I didn't for so long. I just kept marching on.
Amen. And Flo is an amazing person. She's also my girlfriend, but she's an
Oh,
amazing woman and amazing mother, and she's just an incredible person. So I invite you guys to really connect because both are very kind women, and I think that's one of Flo's biggest things is she wants to just be known for her kindness. So I think you guys should have a great conversation.
very kind. She was very kind.
Yeah.
Oh, there's my
So guys,
glasses.
as we wrap this up,
Sorry, I was looking
Cynthia,
for my
how do
glasses.
people get in touch with you? What
Uh,
what are the different ways that you want people to connect, and what's the first and preferred way for you to connect with people?
I have this very old email that I check more often. I got a new fancy one, but I forget. The new one is Cynthia Mannion at cynthiamannion.com.
Okay.
And I do Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter and Instagram now. Join my Facebook group, Cynthia Songs of the Sea. That's the best place. Then I can put in all the places that you can get me, and you can join if you joined the Wednesday meetings, then you get an email, and on the email, all the little things are live, and you could just click on them.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
send me your email address.
Yeah.
It's Cynthia Mannion. I'm in Facebook. Do it there. I put it in that message thing, and
Awesome.
that way I can reach back to you, make sure that you get all that, and then you can give me your information too, and we can be friends.
Perfect. So what we're going to do, we're going to put you into the Facebook group, and then we're also going to share this out, and then we're going to invite you to share it out as well. And we won't just share it out once. We'll probably put it into a couple of clips so that we talk about it for the next week or so people can get more information, or maybe if they miss this, they can go back and watch the recording. So Cynthia, I just want to personally thank you for being who you are. I've gotten to know you in a couple of different aspects, and I'm truly grateful for the person that you are, person that you were for your kids, for your siblings, the person that you were for your father, and more importantly, the person that you have been for yourself, the advocate that you have been for Cynthia Mannion, which allows others to learn how to be an advocate for themselves. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Bob. It's beautiful.
Thank you. So guys, get out there, make it a great week, and enjoy your next level.
Woohoo! Because you are amazing. I am amazing. We are amazing.
Amen.
Thank you.